People talk a lot about culture. And I think for me, culture is two parts because there's culture of the feeling, people want to feel like they're in a strong culture. And then there's the performance of culture, right? Are you actually performing and executing that level of culture of excellence? And I do attribute a lot of it to Dan Gilbert in a way that he had high expectations. Dan, I've heard stories when I got there, and he's been amazing throughout my career there. When I walk into an arena, actually anywhere at this point, and I see a piece of paper on the ground, I'm picking it up. Like it's a natural reaction, right? And that's a part of what's been defined with the culture there. Customers always first, but also about, are we performing? This is what we asked, but can we do more, right? There's one plate in front of me, but how do I get four? Most people would look at that and say, that just can't happen. So we're going to move on to the next problem. But in Cleveland, it was, no, we're going to figure out how to create 4 plates. Right? Even though you see one today. I do think it was a culture that helped. And then you were into that culture. So there was an expectation set. And then you hire the right people aligned to fulfill that culture. Culture's not for everybody, that particular culture, right? But it was a high demand, high intense, but always about innovating constantly about how can we redefine things and make things better. I do think it was just about culture that led to getting the right people there, that kind of created that formula for success.
How do you get that right in an interview process, though, to make sure someone's going to fit that culture? You laugh because we've all not gotten it right at times.
So as the search professional, right?
I know, right? We just hire you.
Exactly. And end of the podcast.
That's it. That's done. It's done. It's tough. It really is tough. I often ask, and for me, look, I feel like we've been in this business so long, right? You start looking, and sometimes you just know, right? Through questioning, through interactions, through watching people. That's why I always say, I feel like people are always watching, right? They watch the things that you do and the things you don't even know. And sometimes that it resonates with people in a positive way, right? And it could happen the opposite, but often even in the positive. For me, I ask a lot of questions about people's challenges at what were the challenges that you actually faced at prior organizations? And I know that sounds cliche. I don't care about the actual challenges. I just want to know how they speak about it and how they resolved it.